All right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. I hate when my glasses reflect, but I know I'm going to need them. Shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely evening in which the Most High, Ahia has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. When I say I'm going to rest therein, it's actually saying I'm going to rest my head on his bosom and trust in his every move. I, Sister Deborah, can hear his voice. I know of his voice. And I just thank him for the ear in which he has given me to hear and the eye which he has given me to see. I give him all glory and honor and praise. Mm, 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 mm. I'm thinking about today. I was thinking about how sad it is uh, to be able to discern and to see the spiritual realm of how things are or what things are heading to, and to see people go on in life and live a life of hate and uh, manipulation and deceiving people because they want people to believe so hearted in them to where they don't care what comes out of their mouths and how they say it, as long as they got a mass or the numbers following them. And that's just where a people are actually at today. But it's a place in which they were once in time past. We got a lot of Negro brothers who really portray themselves to be intelligent and smart and wise, and they have dipped into the mindset of science, and it has taken them so far, 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 you guys, from reality to the point where Sister Deborah nowadays, in these days now, is realizing a lot of things that I've said in time past, where I said that they're gone too far out. They have swam too far out till they do not see dry land. And the power of that, the power in those words that our Negro men have swam so far out, so far out in the deep, to where they can't even see the dry land. That means they can't find their way home. Uh, they don't know really where home is at. Uh, and they have gone so far deep, especially a lot of those that's followed Farrakhan at one time, and still today follow that same belief somewhat, but they have dipped so deep into the science of what is before them. And to me, even when they dip into the science, they're still dipping into the understanding of those who have mastered the science, and that's how they have captured individual wicked powers, and they are gone so far. And then I sit and I say, Father, it's to me, when I think of a puzzle, I look at this puzzle and it's fully completed. It's fully completed. It's just like, to me, it's like everybody is exactly where they need to be, and they were ordained to be and should be in this day and time. In spite of all the turmoil and the storm and the wicked and the evil and the darkness, I believe in my spirit being Everything is exactly where it needs to be. I think a people need to be exactly where they are at, even to the point of uh, the fire going in the direction toward uh, the fire of the wrath of the Father. I feel the need of why that need be, because of the mindsets in such a midnight hour. It's not resting on anything outside of what they think that they have the power to orchestrate. They have the power to change. They have the power to make wrong right. They have the power to do any and everything, but have not really stood back, look in the mirror, and say to themselves, where are you? Where have you gone? Where can you go? Yeah, you can psych your mind to believe there's so much out there that you're going to master, that you're going to conquer, you're going to get victory, you're going to get wealth, you're going to be this and you're going to be that. To me, this is an issue that has been in time past, now in such a midnight hour. Midnight hour to me is wicked and evil and lawlessness, hateful and decept, deceiving time period at its highest. This is what I call the midnight and darkness. That's where people are at, and they're in the darkness, plotting for tomorrow to have so much light. And I think that's really sad. It's more than sad, because they are content. They are so content that they gonna make a difference. They gonna make a change because they have the power. They have the authority. And let me tell you what, it's gone so bad to where they believe that they are God. Isn't that sad? And when a mindset is at that level, this also support what Sister Deborah been saying for the last 2.5 years. Our Negro men have gone so far out in the middle of the ocean to where they at right now. They can't see dry land. That means they are gone. Just as Deuteronomy 28 spoken, they are gone. Because when you see men who sound so learned, so educated, and they go after science to the point where they feel that they have the power to change the whole world. And guess what? They can't even change 1 hour of their lives. Not even 1 hour of their lives can be changed. Isn't that sad? But yet something in them, even in their speech and in their mind frame of what they believe so hard, they believe that wholehearted that, hey, they're going to change the world. Everything that they are doing is going to make things better, even in the midst of them thinking that the power rests within them. People who go into this science, they don't understand that principality in high places at one time love to see them going in that area. Love to see them going up in the area of where a principality in high places reside. They love the idea that people who think they overly learned and think they got the ability to teach science and know about science from A to Z, they never thought for 1 minute that the science in which they're trying to master and they feel within their whole heart that they have mastered is coming from principality in high places that once was high at that level, waiting for them to come on one accord. That's why he said, principality in high places. So when science go to the level of those high places, everything they learned is what Satan prepared them to learn. And what happens when they come down to reality? Now they feel that they have the power to change the world, just as Satan did in heaven. He felt that if I can just sit on that throne, they will see me in the heavens as a God. That's pretty heavy, isn't it? That's the mindset. I'm trying to take you there of where Negro men that has gotten to a level that they feel that they are highly intelligent, highly learned through the science. What people don't understand, your mind is a powerful tool. Your mind will play against you. Your mind will take you up out of here. Your mind will cause you to end your life. Your mind will cause you to eat things that's not healthy. Your mind will cause you to have a hate in your heart. Your mind will cause you to kill, steal, and destroy. Your mind is a powerful tool. And when you take that mind and deal in principality in high places and come to level ground as if you want to change the world. Now you got the ability to change the world. That is Satan up in principality in high places, and that is Satan down. So I want you all to understand when he says to me, lawlessness, there were a time where things were taking place in the principality in high places. So now Sister Deborah is in understanding that now it's on the earth. You see what I'm saying? So it's time, not today, but it's time to rumble. Okay? Rumble in the evil, wicked, darkness, hateful, deceitful, sorrow, or just dark, wicked. That has ever hit the land. This is what it is going to get worse, worse, and worse. So I say to you all yesterday, how is it that all this stuff is going on and no one's seeing it? That's just how it was the days of Lot. That's just how all those people didn't have no problem. Even when the two angels came to Lot's house, hey, they was wanted, they stopped, ran to Lot's house. They've been watching. Young men and men was at the door. And what could all of y'all do with these two angels that came, which were in form of a man? What would y'all do with those? That's showing you the minds were gone. And that same thing it is today. It's just gone. It's so the minds of our Negro men are so gone to the point where you know how Yeshua is coming on the four corners to collect. That time period we got a little distance for. But guess what? People gonna be so out of it mentally in their flesh. They ain't gonna care less about Yeshua coming on the four corners. They ain't gonna care less about nothing. Evil is gonna be the norm. Evil right now today is the norm for a lot of people because people are not tackling wrongdoing, unjust, evil, and wicked, or how would I say it? Buckling up against things that's not just. Instead, they join in the unjust, the unrighteous, the wicked, the evil. Everybody is joining in. This is what Sister Deborah is seeing from the wilderness level. I'm watching this, and this is why I come to the conclusion. Wait a minute, Father, they don't see this? No, they really don't. Because the strong delusion juice that he has poured out and the reprobated minds is heavily embedded on many of the house of Israel. Many. To where once you come awakened, the first and foremost thing you should have awakened to should have been righteousness. What did we do? Our men and women, especially our men, they ran out, they taught this thing and start speaking this thing as if we have awakened to who we are, which is the flesh. They never thought, wait a minute, if we are awakening in the flesh, whatever happened to awakening in righteousness? See, no one ever questioned them about that. No one ever said anything. They felt like they feel today. It's better for them to know their flesh nationality, their flesh bloodline, everything to do with their flesh. That's what they have awakened in their self-own understanding and never turn to awakening to righteousness. So this is what you see today. And this is why hands off, said the Most High Yah. His hands are off. It's because the things that they have done continually, they have done it with the full level of wicked and evil, hateful, disobedient, stiff-necked, rebellion, whoremongering, making right, wrong 100%, so that they may live the desire of their flesh. Anytime someone tell you that they have awakened, or our people waking up, but what's higher than waking up to righteousness or waking up to your nationality? Which one would you awaken? If you have awakened to something, will it be righteousness or will it be your nationality or your how would I say it? Who your nation is, where you come from. All these thousands of years, that never changed. That never was denied who you was. It's who you are in the inside. See, people trying to come every way outside of the front door. They're coming strictly through the back door and the basement door. And they are entering into a house and they're leading the mass, the multitude from that level. No one is coming, knocking at the door, coming through the door that leads to life, the door of righteous. No one. They have every way, every form, shape, everything that has to do with the flesh. That's the only thing people are awakening to and are preparing for. How we can feed our flesh, how we can dress our flesh, how we can talk out of our flesh, how we can deceive people from the level of our flesh. Everything is about the flesh. And this is another sign of what was said that shall come between Noah and the ark and Lot with Solomon and Gomorrah. What was it? That I'm going to destroy some things. Do you think that they're waiting for that individual, or you think they fear the fact that he's going to destroy some things? They don't give a rat's behind about nothing that the Father have said about what he's going to do when it come down to his wrath, his anger, and him destroying some things. They don't care about that because everything that had to do with the awakening extended from I think it was in the 90s when that Yahweh started. And if you do your study on that, you can see the level of wicked. And this is what they have awakened to, that same spirit. And they awaken to that same wicked spirit, and they have given their flesh over to an idol god, which is flesh, which is a man. That's the new idol god in this day and time in the year 2023. That's their idol god. And they are being set up from the floor up to appear to be somebody righteous. And with me, it's nothing they're saying. It's nothing they're doing. It's nothing they're doing that they're correcting or they're healing. They're building in their community. They are doing nothing outside of pleasuring the desire of their flesh. If we can dress in purple and gold, if we can march, if we can sing, if we can eat food for our flesh that we want, we can grow food for our flesh. We can have everything that our flesh going to need while we're here on the earth. And they have not awakened to any righteousness, nor the power therein. So that leads me to understand much more about what I'm saying when I say that what is going on, why ain't nobody recognizing that it's getting bad, it's getting worse and worse, is because he only going to allow those that are found in him to see where we're at in this day and time. So when you can get all these pastors, you can get all these apostles, you can get all these prophets, these prophetess, these bishops, these priests, these science. One man called himself master of science. And you can get all these moorings, these seers, these watchmen. You can get them all. And it ain't going to help. It's too late. It's over. So those are the ones that's going to lead the people into what they are in. And that's what's making people so content. They will fight you and uphold a cult leader like it's their life itself. They would, and not even understand that you are following behind someone that has no godly nothing, but yet you chose to make this individual your God, your idol. So the Father is saying, Deborah, I told you, I told you, I told you. That's why it's over with me. I'm not coming to make it better or to make them see something that's crooked or to make them see the light. I'm not coming. It's no need to. This has been going on for thousands of years, chasing the same people. And it's people themselves have chased idol gods since the beginning. Now they're chasing idol flesh God. They have never awakened to anything that has to do with righteous. They speak not even of the light because they say that they are God and that God is in them. They are God. It's the things that it is so off. Woo. And in spite of it all, you guys, I can see also why the gate is narrow and very few shall find their end. And guess what? Nobody cares if they find their way, no way. Not in this day. Their way is the way of an idol god, which is a man. If I could just follow behind him where everybody else is going, if I can just tag along and I can feel I belong and I can feel all the world is against me and mine. And if I can feel that, wait a minute, we are the only one and the ones that's righteous and not righteous, upright. No, I ain't going to even say upright. We are the one. Let's put it like that. The chosen. Yes, you are. Everyone is chosen. And that's what people don't understand. You chosen to walk with Satan or you are chosen to walk with Yah. Your pick has already been picked. before the foundation of the world. In the heavens are books. And on the other side, there is a book called the Lamb Book of Life. And it is other books there where those who are going to the lake of fire. And you think people caught up in there? No. So what they did, and I realized it, and I especially this morning as I gripped the fact that no one cares about the power. And that's why the power going to have to show up and show out in a way that eyes have not seen and your ears have not heard. And I'm saying it in a different order and making you thinking that you got something prepared for you. You got something waiting that your eyes have never seen and your ears have never heard. But it's not going to come with you pleasuring yourself in the flesh. Everything you see now in this day and time is about individual embracing their flesh. Everything everybody's doing. And they trying, oh, that's my fan. They trying to battle with each other, debate each other. They're going after each other, gang banging each other, robbing each other, and definitely killing each other by great numbers. And nobody, I'm like saying, nobody ain't, he said, but Deborah, I told you it's lawlessness. That means for you to understand, my hand is off. They do whatever. And people don't even know the capacity of what that means. They don't know what that means when Yah's hands is off. Only reason why it has not appeared to be as worse. Some of them still waiting to see if I can do this here and get away with it. If I can do it and it's okay. If I can do this, what I always been wanting to do. And that's what they're doing. A lot of it, the media, the newsroom, CNN, NBC, MSN, none of them can hold the capacity of what is actually taking place in the world, in the United States today. I'm going to say that alone. No one could even handle, if the Father would show them, they couldn't even handle it in the natural to see actually what's taking place down on this earth in this country today. They couldn't handle it. They wouldn't even want to come back to out of the vision to live, if they really were given the insight to see what's actually taking place. And I think this is still the hand of and the power of Yah, because it's almost saying, let them do what they're doing. Let them say what they said. Let them deceive whom they deceiving. Let them be the cult leader, the cult ruler, the cult idol, because that's what they're doing. They're idling these people. And when I understood the fullness of a cult leader, I was like, but Father, that's what the Negro men are doing to their people. He said, that's what that's all about. And the people still follow them by great numbers. But guess why? Because Satan already in them to follow Satan. What I mean, Satan is in them. Wicked and evil is already in them to follow he that teaches wicked and evil and carry it in its heaviness. Meaning if wicked and evil is in the individual, they're not going to teach no righteous. That's why the people are not awakening to righteous. Instead, they're awakening to unrighteous. They're following the flesh of idol gods. They're following the flesh of cult leaders. They're following the flesh of Hebrew Israelite movement, which is another form of cult. A cult. Guess what? I'm learning a little bit about things I really am not interested in. And that was during the time and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X time, and realized that a lot of things were going on even back then. When we looked at them, we idled them. We put them on pedestals. We listen to their intelligence. We listen to them say things about how and why and the way we should live. And guess what? They didn't teach us any righteousness. Neither one of these young men, Martin Luther King nor Malcolm X, directed us to the Father. Isn't that something to think about? Nobody really have directed a people to righteousness. That's why I know that the Father, in what he is saying about righteousness and how people are constantly keep continuing to feel that they are coming to the knowledge of something, and they ain't, what they're coming to the knowledge of is called stupidity, because it's of the flesh. What more do you need to know about your flesh, about your history, about your people? All these years you saw how, or you felt that the heathens and the Gentiles kept your history from you, kept your family and your language and your everything. And the Father has a message. What have you done with it lately after you come to the conclusion or the knowledge, or you have awakened, or you found who you are? What have you done in righteousness? Nothing. So what are you saying? You're saying it's better for me to know who I am in the flesh than who I am in the spirit. Yes. So what did he say? You're not born of the spirit. You're born of the flesh. And then that's another thing. The way people are conducting themselves is in the order of the flesh. No one is focusing on the spirit, because they don't understand the spirit is what's going to live eternal. Okay. It's not the flesh. Okay. The flesh, let me tell you, the flesh goes into the grave, right? And the bones and the flesh, the Father in the heavens of creation is going to take those graves and put them in the lake of fire, where the false prophets, the false prophet, the false Christ, and Satan is going to live eternal, the lake of fire. That's where he's going to put those graves. You see what I'm saying? So then that leads you to understand, well, what is going to be before the throne of God. Right now, everybody's in like a paradise sleep. Their spirit is in like a paradise sleep, waiting to stand before the Most High Yah. So when they stand before the Most High Yah, they're going to be judged based on the way they let their flesh have dominion over their spirit. That told them that, okay, you are born of the flesh. But when you born of the spirit, your spirit controls your flesh. You see what I'm saying? This is the difference. So therefore, that's why he was able to leave a message with us that very few going to find their way to life, because the way to life that leads in the narrow gate, you ain't gonna get nobody in this day and time and no other day and time to go in the way of the narrow gate. Why? Because the broad is the favored. That's the one that you see these cult leaders boosting and getting high, in. That's why they don't have no discipline, no correction, no nothing. They drink, they smoke, they have wives, they have all the things to the flesh. And if a person cannot see that to debate anybody regarding wives or polygamy, you will be a fool of a fool. You cannot debate Satan's way of doing things to the flesh. See, that's what people don't understand. All of that has to do with the flesh. Do you think that the Father in heavens is wrapped up in a man fulfilling his lust, fulfilling his way of being a God, a king, a leader, and ruler? All this, the Most High is supposed to be concerned about. He's not. So that's why you can't go to a book and think you can say, Yah said. Yah. You know the sad part about it? There's not one verse Not one verse in the 1611 King James, and then you won't you won't find them in the scroll where it tells any man, nor woman, but any man that you can have as many wives as you please. You will never find nothing out that proceed out of the mouth of Yah telling nobody that is righteous or it's okay. He never, ever, you won't find it. What they do is they so busy making the Most High God a lie. So they would tell you, since David, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, those that were out of the heart of God, they would say, since they did it, see, it's right. No. This is the difference between them and them. Those men came down here, branded. So right now, they're in a paradise of sleep. When they spirits stand up before the Most High Yah, they were branded with righteous belief, faith, and fear. They're going to return because they came out of the Lamb Book of Life. You see what I'm saying? Their sin, I'm telling y'all, no one wants to do the study. The study in polygamy is to take all of David, all of Solomon, all of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and see how the Most High felt about all the children they left behind. All the wives they married. Go into it and see the relationship. If it's so righteous, why is it so much wicked and evil came out of it? That's all you had to do is hear what Jacob said before he died about his sons. Hear what he said. A lot of chaos between the wives. And then someone has the audacity in the year of 2023 and tell you that it's righteous, it's just, and it's pleasing to the God of creation, to the point where God of creation is a polygamist and also have many wives. That's what they do. They turned it over to him. Now they say he got a lot of wives. That's when they cross that line, that shows you Satan. That shows you Satan. Now, I'm going to tell you why I say that. Now, listen to this, y'all. You're going to say that the creator of the universe matches up with your flesh desire to have many wives and run your life as a man that has a multi-wives. And you're going to categorize the creator of the whole universe. Now, watch this here, y'all. Listen to this. Why ain't Satan got a lot of wives? Come on now, somebody. Come on now. So you see what I'm saying? Why is there anything saying Satan has a lot of wives? But you're going to say to the world that the creator of the whole world is a polygamist and that he too has many wives. That shows you that Satan himself lives in them individuals who live that lifestyle. Because none of that lifestyle of polygamy has no place in heaven. It does nothing for heaven. It brings no glory to heaven. It brings no praise to heaven. It brings no honor to heaven. It does not manifest the Most High Yah. It does not recognize the Most High Yah. It does not honor the Most High Yah. Nothing in polygamy has nothing to do with the kingdom of heaven. Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? The Most High even took Jacob's children. He took those children and he even branded what he want out of them. Those are the only ones going to return back to the kingdom. All that other mess, y'all ain't going nowhere. Just like back then, he told Moses to go down. And Moses telling him, you need to repent. Telling the father, you need to repent. You wanting to destroy those people that you brought out of Egypt, out of the bondage of Pharaoh. You need to repent. That's what Moses said. Then when he got down at the bottom of the mountain, he threw the stone of the commandments on the ground, and he went and got his sword with Aaron and the priest, and they killed every 3,000 and something of them. It's more than that, but they said 3,000 men. Wait a minute, Moses, that's your family. That's your blood. That's your bloodline. That's your lineage. What are you doing, Moses? you killing Israel and Judah, Moses. He took them out. See, this shows you what I'm saying, shows you how they have lied to the people, making the people think and feel and take on this thing that all of y'all going to the kingdom, and all of y'all, we the people, we the this, and we the this, and we the this. We've been that since Genesis. What have we done lately for him to show that he's all righteous, he's all worthy to be praised and honored? Talk negative about him. That's all we did. And you know what? There's no such thing as awakening until you have awakened to righteousness that rests in spirit and truth. Outside of that, there's no such thing. They have built that foundation back in the 90s, where that Yahweh. And if you do your study back then, you will see the ugliness of why it's so ugly today amongst the house of Israel. You would see, and you would say, I didn't know that's what we was worshiping. I didn't know that's who we put on pedestal. I didn't know that's who we've been honoring. I didn't know that's who we've been uplifting. It'll blow your mind. And the Father sitting back on the throne, as he is the power on high and on low, just sitting back. Ain't they walking my way? Ain't they walking my will? Because see, the will was orchestrated before the foundation of the world. So what do they do now? They go to science. They bump y'all out through science. They do away with the Most High through the science. See, once they start studying science, then they boot the Most High out. They don't have to deal with him. Y'all didn't know they did. Yes, that's what they did. Muhammad, what's his name? Farrakhan, many of those guys that came through him that was overly learned, they went into the science idea. And now they teach both sides, but they lean more to science. And it's to come to really counteract the creator himself. That's the whole ideal of it. Is to and they had to step out of the those who did that, they had to step out of the Islam. They kind of straddle the fence on both sides, but they're not fully into the Islam, even though that's their belief. But when they stepped over to science, they didn't understand. Science represents principality in high places, wicked and evil at its highest. And they went stepping over there, and now science has stepped in them. See, you can't, your mind is a powerful thing. Your mind would tell you to go to bed, take something, go to your mother's house, slice her throat. That's how powerful your mind can be manipulated. And people don't get it. They don't get it. Only thing that can stop your mind from being so far deep out of what is righteous is to have righteous thoughts, desire to be a part of the creator. When you start to be a part of who he is and desire in you, then this is the only thing keeping your mind from running all over the place and to and fro with all this wicked and evil and darkness, trying to get peace, trying to get sleep, trying to get health, trying to get healed, trying to get delivered. You see, but what people do is they boot him out, and that's righteous, which is the Father, which is spirit and truth, which is the light. They take all of that out of their lives, and they begin to serve the darkness, and they prefer the ways of the darkness. So when I see my young men, not mine, break it down, Deborah, break it down. When I see the Negro young men out here focusing on things. Let me show you something else they focusing on that'll mess y'all up. Y'all don't know nothing about this, but I'm gonna go and spill the beans. Another thing they focus on, where you can see they're focusing on science, special diets, herbs. When they get into them areas, you guys, they're saying we don't believe in the creator. We believe the creator gave us the ability to have everything here to where we don't need him there. That's what it is, y'all. That's what it is. We feel that if we learn how to take different herbs, just like different not herbs. Yes, it is. It's the same. Yeah. Where they do with different fragrance, where they thinking they sage and wording off spirits and all of that. That's what all that's about, y'all. It's a form of sorcery and witchcraft, and none of them understand that that's what it is. Even when they dip it into science, same thing. You joining Satan team. That's it. You joining the highest of the highest. What did Sister Deborah say 2 years ago, about 2 years and a half? They're gone so far out in the deep that they cannot see dry land. And the Father suffered them to go that far out. Now they can't see dry land. They don't know what dry land looked like. And they don't know how to swim back to dry land because they went too far out. And when they go that far out, they follow their idol God, which is the flesh of a man, who told them that if you learn this, you're going to be higher than the creator himself. And then they began to think that now they are gods. I've learned how this was created and why this hit this and how this helped me here and how this helped me here. But guess what the trick to it, y'all? The whole trick to the whole overall is, listen to how powerful the manipulation is. All the science is there to make you think you can master the mind, the heart, the flesh. See, they didn't understand you're not just flesh, baby, you're a spirit. They don't understand that mastering the way of man with Satan, science, that it does not offer you the ability to know beyond the science where the true creator is at, who holds all power over your science and all. So what they do is they grab the science and it overpowers them because it is very, 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 very powerful. Very powerful. That's what he tell you. He say, it is said, put on the whole armor of the Most High. And did you know the whole armor of the Most High was never natural? It was never natural. The breastplate, the helmet, all of that was spiritual. You see how people can not gain the things that is created by the Most High, but gain the things of witchcraft and sorcery because they thinking they can defeat. He's telling, put on the whole armor. Father, you better watch yourself. Put on the whole armor. Why? You're going to need it with these principalities in high places. Why? Because they were giving by the Most High the highness of their wicked and evil in high places. By the Most High. So the Most High said, put that spiritual, you better put on your spiritual garment. You better put it on. Because to deal with them, you're going to need it. And then he said that you may dodge the darts of Satan. You may. And the reason why he said that is because 99.9 didn't have a spiritual breastplate or a helmet. They didn't have it. It's just a mental in their flesh that makes them think they got the helmet and the best of plate of righteous. They just say they have it because in their flesh tells them the power of believing in my flesh has accomplished or has been inherited these things. Now I can fight. No, you can't fight. And that's why they went over into science. They dipped into the principality in high places, and the principality won them over to the utmost. That's why a lot of times, and today it's, just looking and seeing, I said, Father, they really think they winning. They really think. I remember Joseph, my son, Quiet Storm. He said to me when he was a little bitty boy, he said, Mama, is Satan winning? That's what he said to me when he was a little bitty boy. I said, is Satan winning? He said to me that. That's what he said. I think he was like 7. He said, Mama, is Satan winning? Who did he give this earth to? Who did he give it to? Who did he say it? What did the Most High speak of? Or if you heard it, that says where Yah said Satan is on the earth and was given it, and he come down to deceive the whole world. What part of that we don't get? We don't get none of it, because we really believe that's a lie. See, stuff like that, we don't grip the warnings from who? The Creator. We don't believe nothing he said, even though we use all these different names. We sit and we say, we this, I got this, and one of the things they say, they have the name, they have Torah, they have the Holy Spirit, they have the Ruach HaKodesh, and I'm sitting back saying, Father, Father, Father. But yet they idol flesh of a man and a woman. And yet they listen to man's stupidity regarding the Creator, to lower the Creator as low as they can get him so they can look to be high. That's what a lot of the cult leaders have done in the house of Israel. A lot of them. But the thing about it, it doesn't move the Father that the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah has went all the way to the left wing, because he already knew it. He said, I'm used to that, Deborah. This is what they've been doing since the beginning of time. So they're going where they are, where their hearts are, and where they're going to end up. A lot of people stand and they live today, and they get the opportunity to live and stand around and think, oh, they're going to heaven, or they're going to be with, and they never thought to search or seek out the Father's righteousness, the heart of the Creator, the light of the Creator, the will of the Creator. Instead, they decided, I leave all that alone, and I just serve man in the way he say the Creator is, the way he say the Creator does this, believe this, is this, about this, do this. And that's the way they go. And they take themselves so far from the Most High to where they just out there in the deep. So when I see all our well so-called educated men, even those that are in the prison system, I'm going to tell y'all something that a lot of you all don't know about. And this is for men and women. One of the spirits that's out is masculine. They want to appear and be fit from the sight. You see a lot of men in the Hebrew Israelite, in the tribe of Judah, they're all trying to look a role. They're all trying to look the role. The women walk around like a mop head, okay, on a stick, a mop head on a stick. And the men buffed, name brand clothes, updated clothes, but the women dragging around looking like a mop. And I'm going to tell it like it is. Not understanding that this here is a form of a cult that tells you how to dress, but then yet they can dress any way they want to. You see, tell you how and what you are supposed to do. Let me tell you what's wrong with that. When we stand before the mighty Yah, we standing alone. We're not standing with our husband, and our husband is not standing with our wife. So whatever we do, according to these cult leaders and these Hebrew Israelite movement, we can go on and walk with them, talk with them, be on the side of them, and do everything they tell you. But if there's no righteous in you, you might as well do everything. If they tell you to lick under their feet every day, you might as well, between their toes, you might as well get busy. Because if you don't know righteousness in you, where you ain't being led by a spirit of the Most High Yah to tell you that, hey, baby, when you stand before me, you're going to be judged. And it ain't going to be judged on what he told you to do. See, that's what people don't understand. If he wanted a man to be a strong leader, ruler, controller, manipulation, just horrible, then guess what? If that's the way that the Father created man to rule over a woman in that sense, should not. I see where you're going with this, Father, y'all. I see where you're going. The Father is saying, wouldn't you think that man would have to be judged on the behalf of the woman? Think. Just think. Even your children are not going to be judged based on you. What you didn't give them, what you gave them, what you done. They're not going to be based, when their judgment before Yah, it's not going to be based on your mama or your daddy molested you. Your mama only gave you one plate of food. Yah ain't going for it because he knew you before the foundation of the world, before you got your tail down there. Not got your tail, before he sun you down. He's going to judge us based on how he already know us. And if we cut up from the floor on the earth, guess what? We are already judged and don't know it. You see? So this is the reason why you got to be able to know the spiritual creation, who the spiritual God is, the one that gave you his image and his breath. You got to get to know him in his power. You got to get to know those together. The word, the Father, his spirit, and the power. You must know it together. You can't separate those, because once you really hang on to that, guess what, y'all? You got it, baby. You got it. But don't ever try to get it without the power. But once you got those, you got it. Because what that tells you is this: when you stand before him, he's not going to say, you're not going to say that I was with my husband and he had many wives, and the sin that the Father is going to seek before you and let flash before your eyes, you ain't going to be able to tell that man is the reason why you did it. Oh, he had many wives and he did this and he did this, he did this. He's not going to judge you on that. And guess what? You're not going to be able to stand before the Father and say, when he said, my husband, which is my master, which is my Lord, which is my leader, in which you given me, he told me to do did. And the Father said, I never knew you. You followed him, not me. See, you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? This is trying to show y'all this creator who built everything that you see. He's going to judge you on you. So if you get beaten all your life and you serve as a slave in a land of your oppressor, and then you was double slaved by a man that told you that he can do whatever he want and have many wives and do whatever he want, and all you are to do is to do what he tell you to do. But what if it's not? Most likely it's not. If he got many wives, what is it if it's not the righteous of Yah that he's telling you? And then you thinking you're going to stand before the Father with your husband righteousness. The Father going to say, no. You ain't follow me. You followed that flesh. You didn't follow my way, my order. You followed that flesh. That flesh told you to do this, did, and you did it to your flesh. Not only did you get in the bed with the woman, he got in the bed, you and that woman was doing something in the bed. See, that's what y'all don't understand. That's the level of the spirit that's on the earth today. So that it's no such thing as getting in the house today and you got 3 wives. It's no such thing without the level of a spirit of wickedness. It's no such thing. So what happened? It pulled on up and says what? Now they coming out of the old, going into the new. What did they say? Woman, your body is not yours. Your body, but don't estimate you ain't got no spirit, because that spirit is where Yah dwells. But it tells you your body don't belong to you. It belonged to your husband. And then what do he tell your husband? Husband, your body don't belong to you. It belongs to your wife. It doesn't say wives. See that? They don't want to debate that. They don't want to debate that. It doesn't say wives. If her body belonged to you and your body belonged to her, what's the deal with the other 2 or 3 wives? How can it belong to her if it belonged to 3 other wives? See, they don't want to answer stuff like that. Oh, no. They want to run straight back to the old. Oh, no, we ain't going to answer that question. We're going right back to the old. You see? Because that leads you to understand what the old said at the beginning. One man, one wife become one. And then he turned around and said, hey, y'all, guess what? It's a mystery. I will be, if any woman stand around and be as low as she is to allow a man to have a 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 wives, after he done said his body belonged to you, why are you giving his body to 3 and 4 wives, to other wives? Why? It belonged to you, woman. You see, these are the things that he's going to bring before the throne. This is what the Father is going to say. To me, there's whoremongering going on. There's a lot of things going on with the body. When I said one woman, one man come together, 2, and they become 1. I said that. What part? Then Yeshua pulled up and say, have you not read? In the beginning, it said he made him and her. And for that reason, a man leaves his mother and cleaves to his wife. It didn't say wives. See, this is what you call the perfect will of the Father that has spoken. They don't want that. They don't want that, y'all. They want to run and chase after the will of David, the will of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and fail to realize they were sinful just like you. And just because they were sinful doesn't mean you run and follow their sin and mimic it and call it righteous, and then take that sin and say the Father is a polygamist and he also has many wives. Now you tell me if that's not the low of the low to turn around and go after the Creator with the thing in which is on the earth that caused you to lust and to get pleasure in your flesh. You're going to make it and put it on the Father. You know what happened to that individual? The Father told me, when they think, when they have said stuff like that, Deborah, it's okay. It's okay. These are the one that has the delusion fluid has been poured upon their head. And anybody in their atmosphere that's around them, they too is going to be full of delusion. And he said, when they're like that, Deborah, ain't nobody on the earth. Nobody can debate him. Nobody can challenge him. Nobody can say anything. Because that spirit of liquid of delusion is there to live and die with them. They would never, ever, ever see wrong. They would always see right in everything they do. Not just polygamy. He says everything they do, they're going to see right in it. So you can't debate people like that. You can't debate people who have been poured out, strong delusion have been poured out upon them, or a reprobated mind. But he's saying the strong delusion. That means once the Father in the kingdom of heaven, the Creator, once he poured that out on you, and anybody that detached to you, there's no way they are ever, none of them. If that individual, let me tell you something. If that individual, I'm going to give you an example. If that individual were to go out and take all 5 of his wives, cut their heads off, cut their arms and their legs, put them in black bags, put them in the grave, and take their body, their torso, and burn them right in front of 1,000 of their members, they will find it just. That's how deep the Father lets me know that it's okay. Because when that type of spiritual delusion liquid has been poured out on them, it's just not them. It's everybody that comes in contact. So it's no way you can debate that individual. You can't go up against that individual, because any and everything that individual is going to always come after unrighteous to go up against righteous. He's going to always make wrong right, because the delusion juice is there to stay, not just in his flesh. It has been poured out and it has seeped into his spirit. So when he stand before judgment, he himself know already that he already is going to the lake of fire. But what they get excited, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all probably say I shouldn't say this, but guess what? They get people that are like that leads people like that. These are cult leaders. You see, that's what they really are. They start manipulating the mind. They manipulate the mind, and one of the number one thing they do, the cult leaders always belittle the women. Always. If you do your study and read every cult leader, always make sure the number one thing they do is belittle the women as low as possible, because they want to be able to use them as the weaker link. Now, this is what he was dealing with me earlier about the weaker link as far as the women. He says men has to deal with women as the weaker link. He's only talking about a few things like strength and overworking. That's it. Because if he thought men really had the proper strength, guess what? He'll let them have those seeds that they got in them and not transfer them over to the egg of the woman so she can go through the 9 months and through the pain and birth them, you see, and the raising and the breastfeeding and the cycle called period. If man was really stronger than woman, y'all would have turned all these things over to him, because what? He should have been able to handle. But you got to think of this creator. He is so awesome to where he put everything where he knew it need be. And then he lined up everything like unto the travail of a woman. Now, I have an issue with that word, because in my spiritual mindset, I don't see how it has helped anybody that's walking in the light or in spirit and truth to know that every verse through Genesis to Revelation, when it come down to turmoil and having a hard time in the whole the walk of life, he always connects it to a woman in travail. Now, if man is supposed to be so overpowering us, why do he take what a woman suffers and tell a man that is your issue is like a woman in travail? And he would never, ever, 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 ever know what that's like. He would never, ever, 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 ever know the feeling of a woman travailing, because a man could never travail like a woman that goes into travail. And then the thing about that, that's pain. Man can't suffer. Man couldn't handle. Man couldn't even do. And only the creator in the heavens knew that. So a lot of places in life where women are the key player, as man the key player. Once both of them realize each one of them plays a key role in the Father's righteous, then they'll bloom. They'll bloom. Y'all ain't never wanted one to put the others under their feet. That's the work of Satan. That's the work of cults. Men who have low self-esteem that they need to be looked at as high. And the only way I can become high if I put that woman low. And that's also what Pastor Dow and Gino Jennings, as long as they can see, treat, and put women as low as they can get them, they feel okay. Because if a woman, let me tell y'all something, a real woman of Yah steps in and have to speak as far as teaching, the women will set them down. They will set them down. They will set them down. And that's their biggest threat. And everybody in the world did not know that. That's why they kept women at a level. It's to the point where all you have to do is say, okay, Father, what is this whole thing about Mother Earth, Mother Wisdom, Israel as the daughter, Israel as the wife, woman in travail, from Genesis to Revelation? You can pull out the scriptures where a woman in travail. What was all this here? And what was it to do to a man? Or what was it for men to graft or get out of it? They couldn't, because they have rejected that. That's why I try to tell y'all, they reject anything that threatens their masculinity. What would I say? Who they are as a man. And they know if we could just keep women below the temperature, they will freeze right where they at. But whoa, let them get up. Let one come up and challenge their words. They would never be the same. Matter of fact, they will stand down. I've seen two men already being challenged and wore out by a woman. They step down, and you don't see them nowhere on YouTube no more. That's what the men are afraid in the tribe of Judah, in the house of Israel. Negro men. They're afraid that if a woman steps up, how the father would use her. You see? But what they don't understand in this day and time, you ain't even worth y'all sending a woman to bring you down, because you ain't worth nothing. And that's what they don't understand. It ain't because they turned and they lied on the fruit. The fruit of the spirit is for the spirit. Woo, Father. And they took the fruit of the spirit and made people really look at it as people following them, people supporting them financial, people liking, subscribing, people praising, people putting them on pedestal no matter what they say. They can say, I want to kill my whole household, and everybody will praise them. That's how bad it is, because that's exactly, as a prophetess in the wilderness, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing these people conduct themselves in an order that's not spiritual, and nor is it spirit and truth. But people are praising them. So that lead me to understand that the broad gate, it is as broad as he said, and the people are finding their way to follow these people. And that, I'm going to tell you, what he laid heavy on me today is these cult leaders is so wicked and evil. These people in these churches, these people in these camps, these people in these organizations with this Hebrew Israelite movement, they are loving it. They are getting funds from the state and government. Not only that, they're not paying any taxes. They playing the whole role of the world and leading you up straight to the broad gate. They are not representing the Most High. They're representing the world and deceiving you and make you think that they are someone on your behalf, because y'all the same melanated people, just like Africa. They are so lost without a cause. Let me say this to you all. How do you feel? Let me just say this. How do you think? Let me just say, you probably can't think it. You probably can't think it. But let me say me. How would you think I feel when people are putting Africa above Yah? How would you think if I serve the Most High God, I believe in him, I trust in him, I walk behind him, I have his spirit living in me, he's given me the spirit to hear, and the ear to hear, and the eye to see, but yet when I'm in the wilderness, I'm seeing Africa being spoke of highly, than the creator himself. That's another thing I was telling y'all. It just seemed like the people are gone cuckoo clock. Why is it everybody is speaking of Africa and putting Africa above God? Africa is not righteous. Do you know what type of voodoo and sorcery and witchcraft that has started on that ground in Africa? Do you all, have you not? You know what? I think of the house of Israel not knowing. This is why I know they slow. Something mental is wrong. Understand, Africa sold you over. What is it they don't get? Africa was in the plan of Deuteronomy 28. It's all up in there, talking about Sudan, talking about things that's taking place before you got over to this land. You don't have 1, 2, 3, not one Hebrew Israelite men are able to tackle the fact that things that was in Deuteronomy 28 was taking place over in Africa before you got over to this land. Now, what happened? Somewhere along the line, running away from our promised land, we went into the closest that was near us, and that we end up in Africa. Africa sold your tails. They were a big roll in selling your tails over. But before they sold you over, go back to Deuteronomy 28. See your crazy butts in Africa and see what the Father was saying that they were going to do to you. That was before you got over here. The Father is showing you things that's going to be done to you over in Africa, and how the slave ship's going to take you from that end. But he was telling you what they was going to do to you over in Africa. And that was not your homeland. That was not home base. And this is why I know that the whole house of Israel and the tribe of Judah is cuckoo clocked already, 100%. Because if you have not been able to go over to Africa and see their plan they had for you, they know who you are. They hated you before the heathens and Gentiles hated you, people. They hated you. They knew who you were. It ain't that they disliked you because you were brought over to the United States. They disliked you because they know that they had wronged you way before you got over here. Africa knew that. The people over in Africa. And what happened? You got some of Israel still over there because all of them was running toward Africa, and some remain still there today. Don't be so bent, but you can't help it. You bent up and you bent down, because anytime you sit and tell people to run over to Africa instead of telling them to run to righteousness, run to the bosom of the Father, run to the light, go in a direction to the narrow gate, it's no place you guys can hide. It's no place one can run outside of the bosom of my Father and him only. Where are you running to? Where are you trying to hide? Did you not hear the $51 billion that was given to Africa from the United States? They're going to get your tail in one location and bring illness and other items down on you like they're going to do the United States. They've been doing Africa like that for thousands of years. They've been doing Africa like that. Africa was the easiest control on the face of the earth for the heathens and Gentiles. Always been. And let me tell y'all something. I'm going to give y'all a little treat. And I know maybe I shouldn't tell y'all this, but I'm going to go and give it to you because the Father gave it to me. Yesterday, the Father gave it to me, and I was like, Father, it's just no winning, really. It isn't. He said, no. He said, no, Deborah, it ain't no winning. The Father told me that the African decided to ban the LGBT or whatever that stuff and not allow that there. Guess what? The father said that the elite set that up. It's a trap, y'all. Africa never had the power nor the control to ban or go up against anything that China, Russia, United States tells them. It's a setup. It's a setup to deceive the people in this country to think that United States is going to battle with them, with telling them what they should not ban, LBGY, whatever. That's a setup, the father said. He said, when I was looking at it, he said, Deborah, that's not even real. It's a setup. It's to keep this country, United States and Africa, are using the minds of the people to be thrown off while they're preparing another bio. And they doing pretty good with the food because they putting a lot of stuff in the food to take people out as well. See, they got you no matter what. And that's why I say it's kind of sad. And really, really sad being in the wilderness and can see all these ways of how they going to get you. And then just telling you don't mean nothing because you're just that far gone to understand anything. The whole idea is they got you, baby. They got you right where they need you and they want you. They hadn't planned this for so many years. It is a master plan. That's why they don't care what they say. They don't care what they're going to do to you, what they got planned. It's finished even in them. It is finished in them. What they got now is a timeline in which they're planning on doing it. They have set, the wicked and evil have set their timeline. They're not afraid of you. They're not afraid of saying things to you or showing you. That's why they're showing you everything. Everything is in opening now. That was in the dark, all in the light now. Why? Why should they be hiding something? The Father has given them this space to bring all their wicked and evil to its highest level. And they're doing it. Why? Because the Father didn't let them. He's giving them that leeway. And just because you out there cuckoo clock don't mean the Father going to stop the will of his plan of allowing the wicked to, in the days of wicked, in the days of evil, to do what they have planned. The United States gave Africa they said it was $51 billion, but I don't know what this is what they say. I don't believe nothing Americans say. I don't believe nothing Africa, but I will let you all know. Africa is Ham. Africa is the one that looked at Noah's nakedness. So you can run your darn tails out here and make Africa all this and all that. The Father don't have no problem with you doing it. But you back. You can run and you can hide. It ain't no peace nowhere. It ain't going to be no peace like you think it's going to be. If this is where the African people messed up all this time. They thought that they could separate themselves from Israel in the house of Judah. They thought that they were more better and powerful because of the way they sold you all your tails out. Okay? So they felt that they were doing a service to the heathens and Gentiles. That's what they felt. And they were. So now what the Israel and the tribe of Judah don't understand, Africa feel that they done a favor by selling your tails out to the four corners. And you running around here licking up in Africa's back end, making them think that you want to go there. And the sick males. See, that's one thing I'm going to tell you all. When the house of Judah and the tribe of the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah, men are mentally gone and broken in spirit and has no light of Yah resting therein, women, your household and your children are going to bend too. So the best way and the only way that you and your family won't bend, your children, is that you find the light and tell the Father you desire to walk therein. And if it be his will, let you see who you are in him and that you want to walk continually in him. You see, because you could be the one that once you see what Sister Deborah, just hold up, just give yourself a little few minutes, and you're going to start seeing a lot of things I'm saying. You're going to start seeing these things, and you're going to say, but it looks just like that little old lady said. Oh, it looks just like that. That's why men in this country have such a hate. And you got low-graded women, what they call silly women, will support them and make people think that women, black women, are doing this to the men. Oh, they done with, or they tired. Wait a minute, baby. They ain't served your Father, the Creator in heaven. How could you be tired? You ain't did the will of the Father. How could you be tired? How could you be tired when you didn't live the life the opposite of what the Father represents? So how are you tired? You're going to wake up to stupidity and live in stupidity, and then you tired. What have you done? The history, you guys, the history of family in the house of Israel and the tribe of Judah, basically the tribe of Judah, is off the chain. If they had to do, if we had a Negro leader in the house of Israel and a Negro leader in the tribe of Judah that's full of the righteous, they would be the one to come and tell y'all the truth, and y'all sit around and wouldn't believe them. They would probably kill them. They would kill them because they wouldn't want them telling what they telling, because they wouldn't have no backup scriptures to back them out of what these men would say. But if you don't have these men coming into here and pulling forth, that shows you what Isaiah chapter 3 verse 25 said. I'm coming to take they destroy them, Deborah, with the sword. The men, I'm coming to destroy them. Women, get ready. I'm coming to destroy them. I understand that, because that says the same thing in Deuteronomy 28. The end game, they don't see it because everybody's so busy supporting wrongdoing to where they don't care if there's no right. This is why they can see it. You got a lot of these what they want to be called African American black men going over there to these other countries, talking the women over there is different. Baby, where's your righteousness? Why is life is always about having women? Why is righteous always about your lust? Why is righteous always about what you want and how you want to be satisfied? Because you're a flesh of a man and you desire to be a flesh of a man, something that you wasn't entitled to in life. Now you're trying to make yourself entitled to it. And you are entitled to get all the pleasure of your flesh, because it's going to hell, which called the lake of fire. And guess what? Your spirit going to head right along behind it. So how you like the Most High Yah now? How you like him now? And this is where you're going to end up. This is where you're going to find your way home to where you belong. Because right now, they don't see nothing wrong with nothing they doing, nothing they saying, how they conducting themselves, how they, but this is the saddest thing. They are doing things behind the wall. But it's not behind the wall to where Yah's elect don't see. And I'm sitting here watching them do these things. Why the so-called wannabe rulers and leaders following their flesh desire, all on a deep end, trying to get everything for the flesh. Everything people are doing. I'm going to just drop this here in your lap. Everything everybody is doing is for the flesh. Just think about that. From now on, no matter what, just think about that. Everything everybody's doing on the earth is to please their flesh, to get pleasure in their flesh. Even if it's to rule, to be a king, leader. And like I say, all you have to know when you see cult leaders is when you see women walking around looking like mop heads, just like they did in the slavery. The men got the women looking like they in slavery, acting like they in slavery. They can't say that's how things were over in Egypt. I'm not in Egypt, in the promised land, floating with milk and honey. They wasn't dressed like that. They was not looking like that. And if they say they were, they're a lie and the truth ain't in them. Because when they got to the promised land, they were not looking like that. They was the richest land on the face of the earth. They had everything. The way they look at in the end days, we in the end days of their time. And guess what? They got them looking a certain way. And then you look over on this side, the woman looking like a mop head. And the men or go to the gym. They get buffed. They wear brand clothes, hats, shave. I'm like saying, wait a minute, hold up. How could this be? But the women on this side looking like they slaves forever. You see, that shows you that's not, none of this is connected. It's all off of balance because both ways that I'm talking about is flesh. And if people want to live following them cults, because guess what? One of the number one thing, hear me now, hear me. One of the number one things around males today that plays in that homosexual lifestyle or that look. These men ain't getting this way and looking this way because of these women. They looking this way because this is the way they want to look when they outside, when they on these platforms, when they outside in front of everybody. They want to look like the world, but they want the women to look like the slave master women. But they want to look their best of their best. For who? Who are you buffing for? You got 4 wives. Who are you buffing for? I mean, what do you bring name brand clothes on? What's all that about? They ain't gonna tell y'all. Because it's a plan to make themselves kings, rulers, and leaders, to feel that they are all that and some. That's why they making sure they spend money on what they wear, getting themselves shaped up, making sure they have name brand things, making sure that they go to the gym, making sure they ride, they have fine cars and fine trucks. This is the wickedness. It's called cult leaders. It's nothing righteous about it. And then you go over here and you see the women looking like slave on a mop stick. And they chose that. They can't, they sitting among them and can't see the difference. You can't see that. You can't see. Anytime a cult leader don't have full coverage for medical, dental, health care for the women, all of that, everyone on your church form should have benefits, should have funds, should have an allotment. They ain't gonna do that for two, because they want them to be so low so they can feel so high. They want to feel that they're kings and leaders and rulers, even though they're not. They want to live like they are. They want to feel like they are. They want to say they are. And they want to make, the only way they can gain that position, only one way, if they put woman low. As low as low can be. Because I had some issues. I had some issues with, was that Isaiah? I don't know, was that Isaiah? But I had some issues with Moses. Because I couldn't, not Moses, Abraham. Because I say, this is truly a spirit, ain't it, Father? This it's got to be a spirit. Because I had some problem, but the Father answered them all the questions that made me wonder. I said, why did Abraham go to get items from a king and wanted to pretend that him and Sarah wasn't together? Wasn't that a lie, Father? Was that righteous? Have y'all ever thought why he did that? You want me to tell you why he did that? It wasn't important that the king was going to have Sarah. He didn't care about that. Abraham could care less about that. Sarah could care less about it. Just as Abraham in the vision, the father told him he's going to have him a son, and it's going to be in his line, and how he's going to have a great nation. Told him all that he's going to give him. He even told him his eternal destiny. He said, you counted righteous. That means you already branded with righteous. Soon as Abraham got out the vision, he go to Sarah and he go into Hagar. Sarah didn't have a problem with it. He didn't have a problem with it. But look at the hell that it caused to him to lose his son, his firstborn, and Sarah to be against Hagar. She didn't have no problems with her until Hagar got pregnant. Now those two are feuding with each other. You see what I'm saying? Don't let nobody ever tell you polygamy is a righteous will of the Father. It is a unrighteous. It is not something nobody should mimic. Oh, no, they ain't going to tell you that. Then you go over here to Abraham again. Why did you give Sarah up to the king? Not a man on this earth can preach that thing. Because they know if a woman has to get a hold of the truth of the matter and teach that thing, some walls going to come tumbling down. But because we're in the midnight hour, the Father said it's worthless. It's vain. It's vast. They're going down anyway. See, and that's what I like. Is when he said, it's no need you, Deborah, hold up. This need be. Because why did Abraham say what he said just to get what he wanted to get? But he was willing to give up Sarah as a sexual tool just to get what he wanted. And no one never taught it. No one ever preached it. This is people that are in the flesh, that sins like you and I. Abraham wasn't perfect. I'm not perfect. We sin. But it's no way I want you to follow my sin and mimic it. It's no way I would want no Hebrew Israelite man or woman to follow Sarah's sin or to follow Abraham's sin and mimic it. And then because I love the ideal of what Abraham did, not only am I wanting to mimic it, I'm going to make it righteous. I'm going to make it right so that I can do what Abraham did. That's what they're doing with polygamy. There's no just in it, y'all. There's no righteous in it. No, it's nothing of Yah. Yah is a spirit. Don't lock him into your flesh desire. Now watch this. Why would Abraham do that? Why would Abraham turn Sarah over to the king? He got her ready, y'all. That king was getting her ready and dressed and smelling good, hair washed, everything, just so he can go lay with her. You see the mindset back then? You see the mindset? But they won't tell y'all that today. That's that sign. That mindset today is worse today. I would say it's 10 times worse today. No respect. None whatsoever. That men have for women. Or women have for themselves. Because the truth be told, tomorrow I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover the things that Abraham did against God. And I double dare you to tell me that it was the will of the Father. I'm going to cover that thing from top to bottom. And then the question still set before you. You're going to call this the righteous will because you want to follow Abraham's sin? And I do. I look at that thing and I saw the Father pull up. I was like, you mean to tell me, Father, if you hadn't pull up on them, that man would have had Sarah. Sexual. Got his pleasure on. Had not the Father pulled up. Abraham didn't pull up. He didn't give her rest behind. Go on, get her. Just give me what I want. That's what women was worth back in the days. That's why they were having women. Because it was all about what they can do with them and get them to do. And this here, selling their daughters off. That's what it's about. And that's what it's about today. It's not really about following the Most High Yah and desiring your daughters to have husbands like unto you in the way you are to the Father in heaven. Oh no, they don't give a rest behind. They don't even care if their daughter even is raised or even getting a plate to eat once a week. They don't. The mindset is gone. It's gone. And after the stories, all I did is I told you I took a survey of 20 men, and every last one of them were older than I was. And it wasn't that they were older; it was my age and older. And as I talked, as I listened to all of them, every last one of them been molested by their male family members, from daddy to grandpa to daddy's brother, daddy's uncle to cousin. It was just off the chain. And you know what? A lot of them, they began to cry because they said they did the same thing too, that their father did to them, and that their father knew that their brother, his brother, was messing with them. These little boys, these little boys. Most of them started off like 2 years old, 3, 4. In between that age is where they started molesting them. Now these are men. See, these are the things you all ain't gonna never hear about. And this is what's very shunned in the Black community, in the Negro community. It's very shunned. It's the truth of the whole matter of the wicked, and the level of wicked and evil that's among us is at its highest. It has always been. And this is what the men want to go back to. Being able to shut us up. Keep quiet. If a daddy want to molest his 4 daughters, shut your mouth, mother. Let him do it, mother. Shut up and let him do it. This is the level of keep quiet they want women to be, under their feet, so they can do all their dirt. Once a cult leader is able to get his whole organization to the point where he has belittled the women as low as he can get them, so that the men can see that he's the king. Now I'm the king. What makes him a king? If he can put women as low under his feet. And that's the mentality of a cult leader. Because the whole idea is to become someone on the top, but I got to put somebody at the bottom. I got to show these men how I have the power to put women as low as low. That's why it's mandatory to keep them informed that a woman is supposed to be under their feet. That is not of Yah. All I hear in Genesis, all I heard the Messiah come and say the same thing that Genesis said. Yah said in Genesis, I created him and her. I created them. And when I created them, I gave them dominion. I didn't give them dominion to him. Where they come up with that is the wicked of evil in their hearts. And that's why it's sad that it's continuing this same way. And they don't have no issues with living that lifestyle. And right now, I don't either. But if he hadn't took me to the wilderness to see it for what it is, as far as how bad it is, then I probably would have been a little okay. But I'm looking at it and I'm like saying, but what you gonna do with these people? What? It's nothing. They'll see their time. I'm not dealing with them. I've dealt with them all these years. And that's how he showed me everything in Revelation, in Genesis 1 and 2. Then he backed it up with showing me Deuteronomy 28. And when he backed that up, I was saying, so we gone, huh? He said, yeah, you gone. See, I don't have no problem with that. Because see, he didn't show me the outcome. So I don't have no problem with that. I want to just do what he had me to do and agree with whatever he already willed, his prophecy. So it's a lot of things that they are doing, they are saying, and this is where cult leaders are at. But I do know the Father says he's going to bring them down. Your eyes are going to see it. Your eyes are going to see it. Sister Deborah's eyes shall live to see him bring these cult leaders, men, down. The house of Israel, because I'm called to the house of Israel in the tribe of Judah, because they have formed such a separate spirit. And a lot of you all don't know that it's going on. Even Geno Jennings, he did the same thing. They separated the men and the women, and they brought women to the low of the low and put men on the high of the high. And when they did that, that's out of the order of Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. What's the deal with your Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2, Deborah? That was when it was perfectly orchestrated by the right hand power of Yah. Until sin came in, and this is where man dropped what was righteous down and took up his own way of orchestrating everything with no repentance from his tongue. When the Father was coming to get him, let me show you how deep it is. What was it the Father said that they were? Because I said, well, why you got to say it like that? Why you got to say it like that? He said, and the last verse, I think he said, and they both were naked. And I was like, Father, what's that for? I didn't know what it was for, y'all. I'm trying to understand, make some sense to that. Why are you putting them in the garden naked? What's the purpose of that? That's me talking to in this day and time. I'm trying to figure out, well, why you got them in there naked? He said, I'm trying to send a statement, Deborah. You'll see. Just keep cool. And guess where it was connected to? When he poured up on Adam and Eve, and he said, he called out Adam, where are thou? Don't you know he already see Adam? He's just wanting you to listen to you. He wants your ears to hear what this goat was saying. The reason why Yah was calling him is he wants your ears to hear that goat. And that goat said, here he was. He asked him, what in a sense, why are you hiding? Because I was naked. Wait a minute. You mean sin hit the earth and the best you can do is say you was naked? You see how sick that is? That sealed men minds of lust. They able to recognize the nakedness of the flesh. That's why they lust after women. And that's why the number one thing among gays are to lust after each other body. If you take gay and take the body out of the picture, the individual body, men wouldn't like men. Y'all didn't know that, did you? Men wouldn't like men. Men wouldn't even give the man the time of day. But because sin, sick mind loaded with lust. I hate to see men drooling over men. And they do it everywhere you go. They don't care if a female is with them. It's a spirit and it's heavy. So he was connecting. When he told me, just hold up, I said they were naked. But it's a reason why I said they was naked. See, that's what he was saying. So when sin hit, the first thing man recognized, not that he sinned. Adam never said a word about his sin. But he recognized he was naked. So the Father was saying that that's why naked. They were in there naked, Deborah. Because I wanted you to see how this goat never owned up and say, I was hiding because I disobeyed you. I was hiding because you told me not to. I was hiding because I took heat and entertained the serpent. I was hiding because me and Eve, whatever. No, he didn't say that. I was hiding because I am naked. See? He didn't see nothing wrong with what he did. That's how men are today. They don't see nothing wrong with what they're doing. Nothing. And they ain't going to own up to it. Adam never owned up to his sin. It's you never heard a scripture in Genesis said that he repent or he said, I'm sorry. The Father said that's what you see today. That which always been here. That's why they want women to keep quiet. Because the Father will allow women to speak because women can get so tied up in spirit and truth. and in the light. They don't care what's around them. They'll serve the Most High with all their heart, mind, and spirit. And men knows that. And these Hebrew Israelite movement, they didn't lock these women up to believe you shut your mouth. You are not supposed to speak. Stay under my feet. There's a reason for that. Find a scripture where the Father said that. Did not Yeshua say we live on every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah, or every word that proceeds out of the mouth of man? Come on now, somebody talk to me. We lost. We never gripped that. So this is the reason why when we stand before glory, the Father is not going to look at us and have pity on us, women. He's not going to have pity party. He said it's not going to be any mercy when you stand before him from judgment. You know why? Because if you wants to walk in the way and in the light of a flesh of a dark man, you go right ahead. You're supposed to seek ye the kingdom of heaven first, which is him. And why? Because that's righteousness. That's what we should be seeking. Righteousness. Not the lust of a man. Not the mouth of a man. Not the ways of a man. And I'm going to tell y'all something. What a man don't know if he fall under the righteous will of the Father, everything that come out of him, even his wife, but everything come out of him is going to fall up under him. He don't need to prove himself. Guess what, you all? A man don't have to look a certain way. I know a lot of women say, when I want a man like this, I don't want a man like this, and I want a man like this. Let me tell you something. You's a liar from the pit of hell. You's a liar from the pit of hell. You want what your flesh desire. The truth be told, a man up out of your own heart, you going to love him from the tip of his head to the bottom of his feet. And that is real. So all this whole monkey line, oh, I want him to do this. I want him to have this. I want him to have this. Let me tell you something. If y'all ever gave you a man out of his own heart, you be doing cartwheels all the way until you wake up, and when you go back to sleep, you be turning flips. And that's what you call a real man. You see? Because you know what? You don't mind even submitting to somebody that has a love for your creator. He loved the Father, and I'm going to love him. Because I love the Father, and if he loved my Father, I'm going to love you. You see what I'm saying? You give and gave the Father. You see this man giving and gave the Father all his heart, mind, spirit, and strength. You'll turn around and want to give him yours. Let me give you, baby, all my heart, my mind, my spirit, and just give it. But see, what they don't understand, they ain't got nothing of y'all in them. And you know what's that sick, y'all? Let me tell you the sickest thing. These old heads, they recognize why they had to get medicine to restore themselves. That's because you was doing everything you ain't got no business doing. See, you don't need to be restored in your natural area. You should be able to think and feel. I mean, when I say feel, in your thought, and it should be able to do what it got to do by natural. But these old heads out here, they are sicker than sick. I came back from Atlanta, Georgia, and moved back here. And I had a boyfriend, my first boyfriend, and him and I have always been friends, even when I moved to Atlanta. Been just like this here. We get along. Both our birthdays in October. We get along really good. We always did. Always did. And he was my first boyfriend. I was 17. And we was both in high school. I remember him getting the sewing class with me and being only male. And because I was in the sewing class, he got the sewing class too. But he was known as the most handsome man in the high, I mean, young man in the high school. And that he really was. I give him that. But he went to telling me, I was telling him what's going on here in Missouri with all these young people, these young girls getting murdered. He knew all about all that. Matter of fact, he knew who was doing it. He knew why they were doing it. He knew everything. So I asked him what's going on, and he said, "I'm gonna tell you, boo." He said, "These young girls are being led by these old heads to mess with other old heads to take their money." And I was like, "Wow!" And once the old heads realize that they've been taken, because they thinking that these young girls is really hitting on them or really want them. What makes you think your dried up soda cracker is what some young woman want? These young girls had more men than you had women, and you run around here talking about a virgin. So you see what I'm saying? Even what he say? If a man look at a woman, he have already committed adultery. The look in his heart. What's the difference from a female, a young woman that you want to call a virgin? In Yah, her lusting or looking and desiring, she's already committed. So a lot of things. Let me go back to what he was showing. He was telling me, "Tell boobs they're killing them, and they're killing any other females that they have with them." And I said, "No, that." And he said that, yeah, they doing it. They doing it big time. They doing it all over. And I said, who's setting them up like that? She said, now this is what he said. He said, the old heads that was in the projects. I said, yeah, they closed the projects. They tore it down. Those same old heads that was running drugs. I said, no. Lo, don't tell me they out there. They still out there. He said, no, boo, they are. They are still out there. They running the young men. And the young men are running the young girls. So it's a chain. The old heads are still doing what they were doing back in the days, but they have the young men doing it, and the young men are steering the young girls to go out and meet older guys. So it was a big thing that's going on. And but what they were doing is these young girls was finding out the men's bank account, their credit cards. They were doing it the works up. Because I mean it had to have been about 30 from ages 15 to probably 26. I'd say about 30 that had gotten killed within that short time I had moved back. And I asked him, I said, what's going on with that? What? Because I'm going to be honest, my sister and them was going to a lot of the funerals of these young girls because of their nieces and their daughter. They went to their, somebody in the family always knew these girls. So my older sister and them knew them through their children and their, so that's how they would. I'm saying, you going to a funeral again? Didn't you go already twice this week? And they were telling me about it. So I learned it from, everybody saying that these young girls, these girls are dying. And I said, oh, they killing them big time. They weren't killing them like just basic. They were shooting them 4 or 5 times, y'all. So I'm trying to figure out. So Leon went on and told me what the rope was, and I kind of hated that because it was right after that Florissant, Ferguson. I don't know which one of them guys that got killed, but they've been doing it ever since, all the way up until when I moved back to Missouri. So I'm like, okay, hey, that's a lot. That's a big thing, and they still was killing these young girls. See what? This is where I know that the tribe of Judah, which is Negro men, are the weakest link in the world, is because they haven't figured out anything. You know what, you guys? I want to say something to y'all. The greatest thing to have in this day and time, in time past too, was peace. Peace and joy. Peace and joy. Peace and joy. It ain't time to get your lust on. You see what I'm saying? Because one lust ain't no different than the other. 99.9 don't even know how to enjoy anything based on the way y'all created it anyway. So this is why they run to all these different other ways of doing things, because they never learned the creative way of the Father, because He gave them one. They never figured it out, because they never sit still or slow down or figure it out that it don't take all that. And in the midst of that, you should have some peace and some joy, some happiness. And that's something I've learned that the tribe of Judah, Negro men, don't have. That's why they still today trying to find out how they can be a king, a leader, and a ruler. But if we can belittle these women, oh, surely we can conquer. And you only being a fool, you're a fool, and you're going to be a fool until you in that ground. And I'm going to tell you something. Hold up a moment. That what you do in the flesh, you're gonna be held accountable. Y'all got some chastising and some discipline to pour out. And He's doing it. And He's doing it with fire. So when He told me that about the girls, I'm thinking, okay, now this is what I learned. I'm gonna tell you what this old hen learned. These young girls didn't had 50 to 100 men before they turned 20, 19 years old. So you ain't getting nothing. You's a fool. You's a fool and you's a fool. Because your mental state of mind says, I got a young girl. I got a virgin. You ain't got nothing but a fool. Because a man that chase after a virgin, chasing after the pleasure of his flesh. Because you ain't going to get no joy with a girl that don't do nothing, can't do nothing, can't do no accounting, can't do nothing but pull out your pleasure. And after a while, guess what? It's no different than a 70-year-old woman. See how sick they get? This is the mindset of the tribe of Judah. They've been chasing after a woman's back end all their lives. All their lives. And this is what holds so much of the lust. It's the lust of their desire to look and desire. So they ain't getting away with nothing. They think they are. They getting what they asked for. So when he told me that these men were doing this, I said, then what these men, he said, but boobs, these guys had good jobs. They had homes. They had these girls get them. The old head taught the young men to tell them how to do it. They robbing these men big time. But yeah, I said they robbing the girls from their lives. They taking their life. And then they lose theirs. Why? They go to jail for the rest of their life. Good, decent men want to run around here, want to chase behind a young girl. And you're making a fool out of yourself. Because a young girl is not going to give you no peace, no joy, no happiness. Oh, she can give you a quick fix. But guess what? That same quick fix she can give you, you probably done gave yourself. You just too ignorant. Too ignorant to know that. Because what y'all put in you, let me tell you, it's a way to do it. And be happy. Even when you're 90 years old, you just don't know. But if you ain't never found the way, you don't know the day in which you can be with somebody happy, peace, joy, happiness. In this day and time, I suggest that for any and every last one of you. Seek that happiness and that peace in your relationship. Don't seek the desire of less money and materialistic things, because it's too much heartache going on to want the things of the flesh. And just because that's what they want, let them have all they want. Let them get all they want. And they never knew how to love a woman, because the love that they loved was out of their lust. They never knew how to please a woman, because everything they did was to please themselves. And that's one thing I know when I counsel women, it's hard for them to tell out Negro men. You ain't doing nothing. I heard that so many times. Ooh, yes, from women. Say they don't get nothing out of it. It's not enjoyable because they so busy trying to make them feel good. And the woman don't even know, you don't even have to know how to make him feel good. Because once he began to make himself feel good all the time, he don't know what good is really like. I'm going to tell the truth. Shame the devil. Devil say he ain't shame. They doing what he want them to do. They acting like he want them to act. It's no way that the Father didn't give us something between him and her coming into one. This too is a mystery. One of them, I know I can cry. And that is when a woman and man come together, it's a way to do things. It goes beyond. Way beyond. Because see, they didn't know it was there. They didn't know the distance. They didn't know where it was at and how I get there. They so quick in their lust, in their desire of flesh. They think if they look at a lady's rear end, oh, truly, I'm going to meet my destiny of what I want to feel. Gone. But that's why a lot of them don't know what they're doing. And just because they feel good, they think they're a shining star. And they don't even understand. You ain't seen stars yet, baby, until you know what you're doing the way Yah created it. And that's why in the Romans chapter 1, go back up in Romans chapter 1 and hear how he's telling you he has given them up to a reprobated mind. And he said, because they want to have this feeling for men on men, getting pleasure. Now, you know, darn well ain't nothing in there that the Father put in there for a man and a man. So what is he getting all this good feeling and this feeling? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all out there. They ain't never knew where it was at. They ain't never know how to reach the stars, the real star in which Yah has created in a man and in a woman to know what it's like. And when they get to that point, they already see each other in a way where they are happy. They find peace with each other. They find joy and happiness. And each time, and they both serving the Most High Yah to the fullest. You ain't got nothing coming. Y'all ain't gonna let you know all the secrets and all the mysteries. And you running around here thinking you won the world because you got virgins. You run around here messing with females and don't even know what's on that young female mind. And you ain't the one. You just there for the time being. You ain't the one. And see that they too gone up here to know. They gone. They don't know that's not it. You never got peace. You never got joy. You never got happiness. And you ain't got what many don't understand and never got was what you call really what Yah joined a man and a woman together for. We know bringing forth children, but he put something special that you may enjoy. And the men today, especially the tribe of Judah, don't know how to even know how to get there. They so eager to get to the lust part, and they start lusting before they even get to anything. That's why you see men having sex with men and getting the same pleasure and not desiring women because they think they got it. See, they think they didn't nail it. Baby, you ain't nailed nothing because y'all didn't put it in a man on a man, nor a woman on a woman. But that shows you the darkness of Satan then putting their mind. Oh, you getting it. It's good. I love this man. You see, even that shows. Didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all. If you can see it around the United States, the percentage of men that's homosexual, Negro men that's homosexual in the closet, under the bed, out of the closet, it'll blow your mind. I'm going to give or take 80% of them. Even though they get on this devil platform and preach and teach to y'all better get on out of here. You just don't know what I'm seeing from the wilderness. You just don't know. That's why they need women to keep quiet. They're afraid of y'all sending the right one that's going to be on top of what they said and bring it all the way down, make it nothing. And that's why they want you to keep quiet. A woman on this earth that's been given the gift to be able to speak, you better get your tail up and speak and stop running your crazy tail around here listening to the flesh of a man telling you to keep quiet, talking about the book. Paul said keep silent. No, Paul can't tell Sister Deborah to keep silent when the Father tells me I've called you with a holy calling. I sanctified you. I appointed you. I anointed you. Tell Paul to stand down. I would have a donkey to speak, and who's going to tell me what I can do? I can have the rocks to cry out. Who's going to tell me what to do? Who's going to tell him to do what it belongs to him? All things. And then a man come along want to use what Paul said to keep a woman silent. Use a fool to use a fool, and you're going to be a fool. So I, Sister Deborah, say, I appreciate each and every last one of you all in the live chat, but I'm gonna move on out. Okay? It's good to see each and every last one of you all in the live chat, and I will be back again. Shalom and shalom.